What if people around us began to transform into something slowly, but not quite human? In this story, we will see how a father and son struggle to hold on to their bond while the world fears and hunts half-human, half-animal creatures. Today's story takes us into a world where a mysterious virus is spreading everywhere. A virus so strange and terrifying that it is slowly turning human beings into animals. The movie begins with Francois driving through the city with his teenage son, Emil. They are on their way to the hospital to see Francois' wife, Lana. As they sit in traffic, a heated argument breaks out between father and son, frustration rising until Emil angrily gets out of the car. While walking away, he notices an ambulance nearby. Strange, guttural noises echo from inside it, the kind of sound that doesn't belong to a human. Curious but unsettled, Emil hides, and Francois soon joins him. Suddenly, the ambulance doors burst open, and a monstrous creature with the wings of an eagle explodes out, attacking the paramedics and tearing them apart before flying off into the sky. Father and son watch in horror, shaken by what they've just witnessed. When they finally reach the hospital, they see a small child with strange, slimy tentacles writhing out of its mouth, a living example of the infection that has spread across the world. The virus, now widely feared, transforms people into hybrid creatures, half human and half animal. Francois' wife Lana has also been infected. Until recently, she was still at home with her family, but the government has been collecting infected patients and moving them into research facilities, hoping to find a cure that could turn them back. Because of this, Lana has been transferred to the hospital. Francois and Emil meet a doctor who explains that Lana's condition is showing small signs of improvement, and she is about to be moved again, this time to a larger hospital in another city where more research is being done. Relieved but nervous, Francois takes Emil to see her. When they finally enter her room, they are shaken. Lana's face has started to change, covered with patches of hair as her human features slowly begin to resemble an animal. Time passes, and Francois decides to move to another city to be closer to the new hospital where Lana is being kept. He finds a new job there, trying to rebuild some sense of stability, while Emil enrolls in a local school. On his very first day, a lively girl named Nina begins bombarding him with endless questions. Where he lives, what his name is, how he got the scar on his face, and much more. The other students start laughing at Nina's constant chatter, but she quickly explains that she has ADHD, which makes it hard for her to control what she says or to always understand what's appropriate. Instead of being annoyed, Emil smiles at her honesty, feeling an unexpected spark of connection. Deep down, he begins to enjoy her unfiltered energy, and something about her bluntness makes him feel lighter in this heavy, uncertain world. After school ends, Emil heads straight to the restaurant where his father has started working. That night, a violent storm rips through the city. Wind howls like a beast, tearing down trees and ripping apart rooftops. By morning, the streets are littered with broken branches, overturned bins, and scattered belongings. Francois and Emil step outside to help clean up the wreckage, but their work is interrupted by a sudden phone call. Francois' expression shifts immediately, and without hesitation, he and Emil rush toward an emergency site. When they arrive, they see flashing police lights by a large pond. The scene is chaotic. An ambulance lies half submerged in the murky water, wrecked from the storm. Officer Julia, a firm and determined woman, meets Francois there and gives him the devastating news. During the night, Lana and 4 other infected patients were being transferred. But when the storm struck, the ambulance crashed. In the confusion, the patients managed to escape into the night. Search teams are scouring the area, but there is no sign of Lana. The moment Francois hears this, panic surges through him. His wife is missing somewhere out there, transformed and vulnerable. That night, Francois comes up with a desperate plan. He hangs his and Emil's clothes outside their home, hoping that the familiar scent of family might guide Lana back to them. Emil helps him, though his heart feels heavy. While outside, he suddenly spots movement in the shadows. A strange creature watching him from a distance. His body freezes in fear, but before he can get a better look, the figure vanishes into the dark. The next day at school, Emil overhears grim news. The storm has officially been declared a natural disaster, but there's more. Several human-animal hybrids reportedly use the chaos to break free. The moment Emil hears the phrase "animal-human," shock runs through him, and the box he's holding slips from his hands, crashing to the floor. Nina notices immediately and asks what's wrong, but Emil doesn't answer. Something inside him is stirring. During gym class, the students play tug-of-war. Emil grabs the rope, but when the whistle blows, something unbelievable happens. With one powerful pull, he drags the entire opposing team across the line by himself. Everyone stares in disbelief, but Emil's face darkens. He doesn't feel pride, he feels fear. He realizes that strange new abilities are awakening within him, abilities he can't control. Disturbed, he rushes home after school, pulls off his shirt and stares in horror at his reflection. His spine is pushing outward, sharp and unnatural. His body is changing. He's becoming one of them. Meanwhile, Francois is shopping at the supermarket when he unexpectedly runs into Officer Julia. They exchange a few words, but suddenly chaos erupts. A creature bursts into the mall, sending shoppers screaming. The police immediately draw their weapons and chase it down. Francois follows too, his heart pounding with a dangerous hope. Could this creature be Lana? He pushes through the panicked crowd, but when the beast is finally cornered, he realizes it isn't her. Instead, it's something else entirely. A strange hybrid that resembles an octopus with tentacles that are hooked. The police quickly capture it. Francois, still searching desperately, notices movement under one of the tables. Another hybrid is hiding there, this one with feathers and wings, resembling a bird. He hesitates, torn between telling the officers or protecting the creature. For a moment, he says nothing, but the police eventually spot it on their own and capture it too. Francois watches silently, the weight of helplessness pressing down on him. Somewhere out there, Lana is still lost, and now Emil is starting to change as well. That night, Emil reluctantly joins his classmates at a school party after being invited. The atmosphere is lively, but underneath the laughter, rumors about last night's creature are still spreading. A girl mentions it casually, stirring curiosity among the group. Later, in a playful moment, she offers Emil some food, holding it out on her hand. But instead of eating it normally, Emil leans in and licks it straight from her palm. The action feels bizarre and animalistic, startling everyone around him. Nina watches in silence, confused and unsettled, while the others burst into laughter and mock Emil for his strange behavior. Embarrassed, he storms away from the crowd and wanders into the nearby forest. Surrounded by shadows and silence, he collapses onto the ground, drifting into uneasy sleep. By the time he wakes up, morning light filters through the trees, and he realizes he spent the entire night alone in the woods. Panicked, Emil rushes home, but something feels terribly wrong. A sharp irritation scratches at his throat, making it hard to breathe. He stumbles into the bathroom and, trembling, reaches deep inside his mouth. With effort, he pulls out a small object, a delicate bird feather slick with blood. He stares at it in horror, his lips stained red. There's no denying it now. The changes are happening inside him. He is becoming one of the very creatures everyone fears. Determined not to give up on his wife, Francois insists that he and Emil search the forest for Lana. Together they spend the day combing through the trees, calling her name, but find nothing but silence. Exhausted, they eventually collapse inside their car, spending the night deep in the woods. In the middle of the night, their dog Albert suddenly begins barking furiously, ears pricked at something unseen. Before they can stop him, Albert bolts into the trees. Emil chases after him and soon stumbles into a terrifying sight. Two hybrids lurk in the darkness, their bodies twisted between human and beast. One of them is instantly familiar. It is the winged creature that escaped the ambulance at the very beginning of the story. The moment it notices Emil, it spreads its massive eagle-like wings and lunges forward to attack. But just as quickly as it locks eyes with him, it stops. Something in the creature shifts, as though it senses a connection. It doesn't harm Emil, perhaps recognizing the signs of transformation in him. The same fate they both share. Before anything more can happen, Francois arrives and pulls his son back. Fearful for Emil's health, Francois drives him straight to the hospital, though Emil resists and begs not to go. On the road, they run into Officer Julia, who makes it clear there is no other choice. Under her orders, Emil is admitted. Inside, Francois learns grim news. The army has now been called in. Their mission is to capture all escaped hybrids and contain the virus at any cost. The net is closing, and time is running out. As the days pass, Emil's transformation begins accelerating. His body betrays him in small, painful ways. Riding his bicycle becomes nearly impossible as his strength and coordination falter. One afternoon, Nina notices him stumbling in the street, pale and unsteady. Concerned, she brings him to her house to rest. While there, Emil opens her refrigerator and freezes. Inside lies the body of a dead bird. Its feathers are the exact same color as the one he pulled from his throat. His heart pounds, unease flooding through him. Nina notices his reaction and quickly explains. She found the bird dead outside and decided to keep it in the fridge. To her, it was nothing unusual. But to Emil, the coincidence is chilling. too close to what is happening to his own body. Then Nina says something even stranger. She plans to give the bird to the army so they can use it as food for the captured hybrids. Emil stares at her in silence, torn between confusion, dread, and a growing sense of connection to the creatures everyone else fears. After leaving Nina's house, Emil wanders off alone and heads to a quiet pond. Driven by hunger and instincts he no longer fully understands, he dives into the water. With his bare hands, he catches slippery fish, biting into them raw and devouring them. The taste feels disturbingly natural to him now. Gathering a few more, he carries them into the forest, deeper into the shadows where the hybrids roam. There, he comes face to face with the winged creature again. But this time, instead of running, Emil gently places the fish on the ground in front of it and softly introduces himself. "My name is Emil," he says. To his surprise, the creature responds in a rough but recognizable voice, telling him his own name, Fix. Emil cautiously begins to talk to him, asking about his past life, who he was before the transformation. Fix struggles, his mind foggy, his memories fractured. He cannot recall who he used to be. Suddenly, a small figure emerges from the trees. A little girl, fragile and strange, following Fix closely. Curious, Emil asks if she is his daughter, but Fix shakes his head. She isn't family. She simply clings to him because she has no one else and no place to go. Emil soon learns that Fix cannot fly despite his wings. He has no proper home, always moving restlessly from place to place. Wanting to help, Emil clears away fallen branches near the pond, creating a sheltered space for Fix to rest. In this simple act of kindness, a bond begins to form between them, a fragile friendship born out of shared loneliness and understanding. Elsewhere, Francois is haunted by his own desperate search. One evening behind the restaurant where he works, he notices a shadow moving in the yard, a creature lurking in the darkness. For a moment, hope surges in his chest. Could it be Lana? Heart racing, he approaches, but before he can confirm, the figure vanishes. Later, when Officer Julia questions him, Francois lies, insisting he saw Lana in the forest. He hopes this will push the authorities to search more thoroughly, to bring him closer to finding his wife. Back at school, Emil listens as his classmates gossip about the creatures. Word is spreading that hybrids aren't just appearing here but across the world. Society is splitting into two sides, those who want to protect them and those who want to destroy them. Emil remains silent, carrying a secret that could expose him at any moment. After class, Emil seeks out Fix again. He finds him by the pond, flapping his massive wings in frustrated attempts to lift off the ground. No matter how hard he tries, Fix cannot fly, his body too heavy, his movements unbalanced. Watching him struggle fills Emil with both pity and fear. That evening, Francois ventures into the forest himself. Among the trees, he stumbles upon Emil's bicycle, abandoned. Confusion and dread gnaw at him as he carries it home. Later, while fixing the clogged bathroom sink, he makes a horrifying discovery. Broken fingernails lodged deep in the drain, thick and unnatural. His heart sinks as the truth dawns on him. Something is happening to his son. When night falls, Emil finally returns home. But the moment he steps through the door, Francois confronts him. He holds up the fingernails as proof. Emil's face pales, panic flashing in his eyes. He bolts for the door, but Francois catches him outside, grabbing him desperately. Overwhelmed, Emil breaks down, crying out that he too is changing, that he is becoming a creature. Francois' voice softens as he pulls his son close, trying to calm him. He promises they will find a way through this together, but for now, they must hide his transformation from the authorities. He tells Emil to cut his hair and nails, to mask the changes before the police suspect anything. Shaking, Emil agrees. Later that night, restless and unable to contain the wildness inside him, Emil slips back into the forest. He makes his way to the pond, the place where he feels closest to his true self. Standing in the darkness, he pulls out his phone and calls Nina. As he stares into the night, he lets out a haunting howl, raw and primal, like a wolf calling into the void. On the other end of the line, Nina responds. She too howls, her voice echoing eerily through the phone. Emil freezes, realization hitting him like ice. Her howl is too real, too natural. Something is happening to Nina as well. The next day, Emil returns to the pond to meet Fix. But something has changed. Fix no longer speaks. His voice is gone, replaced by guttural cries. His body has crossed the point of no return, and now he soars into the sky on powerful wings. He is fully transformed into a creature, no trace of humanity left behind. Emil watches, torn between awe and sorrow, realizing what his own future might hold. That night, Francois notices Emil's nails have grown long and sharp again. He urges his son to cut them, desperate to keep the transformation hidden, but Emil refuses. When Francois tries to force him, the animal inside Emil bursts through. He snaps and bites his father's arm. The attack is sudden, violent, but almost immediately Emil pulls back, guilt flashing across his face. The human part of him still clings on, but it is slipping away. Restless, Emil goes to see Nina. She takes him to a nearby farm, where the two finally let their walls down. They talk, they share a fragile moment of intimacy, as if trying to hold on to something human before it disappears. But their peace doesn't last. On his way back, Emil is confronted by his friend Victor, who has already pieced together the truth. Victor knows Emil is changing. He pulls out a device and releases a piercing high-frequency sound. The noise tears through Emil's body like fire, sending him writhing in agony. Overcome by pain, he lashes out and attacks Victor. The commotion draws the attention of nearby soldiers and police, who quickly close in. Just then, Fix swoops in from above, tearing into one of the officers in a savage attempt to protect Emil. The two try to flee together, but in the chaos, Victor screams to the authorities that Emil is the one who attacked him. Gunfire erupts. Bullets rain down. Fix is struck multiple times, his body collapsing lifelessly to the ground. Emil watches his friend die, but with his last strength, he manages to escape into the forest. Deep within the trees, Emil suddenly freezes. In the shadows ahead, he sees her, his mother, Lana. She looks at him with wild animal eyes, then turns and retreats further into the forest. Emil follows, his heart pounding, desperate to be near her. But before he can reach her, soldiers swarm the woods. Nets and weapons flash through the darkness as they capture the hybrids one by one. Emil is caught too, but unlike the others, the officers treat him as if he is still human, assuming he is just a boy who wandered too far into the woods. At the police station, Francois rushes in, demanding his son's release. The officers agree, but only if Emil signs a statement claiming he entered the forest by mistake. They place a pen in front of him, but when Emil tries to write his name, his hands fail him. His claws won't grip the pen. Frustration boils over, and he lets out a guttural growl, a sound far more animal than human. The officers exchange uneasy glances, realizing something is wrong. Before they can act, Francois lunges forward, attacking the officer and dragging his son out of the station. They escape, but in the car, Emil makes his decision. With tears in his eyes, he tells his father he cannot go home, not anymore. He belongs in the forest, with the other creatures, with his mother. That is where his world is now. Francois, broken but understanding, finally accepts the truth. He drives his son back to the edge of the forest. There, Emil steps out and disappears into the trees. In the final moments, he tilts back his head and howls like a wolf, his cry echoing through the night. For the first time, he looks at peace. Not human, not beast, but something free. And this is where the story of the animal kingdom comes to an end. A haunting tale of change, survival, and letting go. On IMDb, this movie was rated by 11,000 people and has an average rating of 6.7. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.